Welcome back to my channel. So in this video today, what are we going to do here is I want to show you the process to help you automate the entire workflow of creating how-to social media content to post across social media for lead generation and client acquisition with AI, okay? So why does this matter? Now, as we all know, content drives most of the organic marketing, especially for creators and small business owners, right? If you're looking for leads, if you're looking to get more clients, you need to master social media content in order to attract the right audience. And how-to post is one of the easiest and the most efficient way for you to enhance your expert positioning and get people to trust you and come over to you to inquire more about your services or about your offer. So even though it's so important, I have noticed that most small business owners just simply don't have the time every day to sit down to create social media content, right? So we need a process that's proven to automate it. And many of them don't have the expertise or even interest to be able to create high quality content consistently every day in order to achieve the real business outcome that they're hoping for. And many of them also prefer not to hire expensive agencies. And I don't blame them because we all know the deal about agencies. They're very expensive, typically in the range of thousands of dollars. But if they're able to actually deliver real business outcome, I think being expensive is somewhat justified, but most of them are actually not able to deliver you consistent results over time. So that's why I'm very excited about our video today, because it actually shows you the entire process. You can bring this in-house and automate it quickly with AI and actually get higher quality content and output to get better results in lead generation. So what we're going to focus on today is really the specific build process using AI to automate this entire workflow step by step so you can replicate it for your own business as well. All right, so let's dive in. So the AI tool we're going to use today for the build is called Pixie. I do recommend this tool because the results I'm able to automate with this tool is actually pretty good compared to other tools I've tried. If you are like highly technical, then you can of course try other tools like make.com and AN, which is being very popular right now. If you are just maybe our average business owner who just wants to understand the strategy and get the results, and you don't really want to get super nitty-gritty technical, then this would be perfect for you because this one is truly no code. I don't know if you saw other tools advertising right now, and typically focusing on that they're low code or no code, but when you really go in there to try to build something and test it out, you find that you actually need to code. And sometimes you actually need to code a lot. So this one is very user-friendly. It's very easy and fast to build, and it's truly no code. And by the way, this is not affiliated or anything. Like I genuinely try different tools and find this one to be the easiest to use, and it also integrates with many different underlying AI models, so you would have many different options there. Okay, so now we're in Pixie, and you have 3 options to choose from. I would stay away from Automatic AI Builder, and really you're looking to choose from Form or Chat. So for our project today, Form is going to be a bit better. So let me choose Form. Okay, and then let's name our project here. Let's say Test Project, Automate how to social media content. So you can see in order to build this project, you have to fill out information under the 4 different tabs. So we're going to go through one by one. Let's start with prompt. So really what you're looking for is you need the specific instructions, aka the prompt, and you need something you have to prepare in advance, which is a content reference guide. So what is this content reference guide? It's essentially a document that contains all the past high-performing or proven content from another person, maybe another business owner, another influencer, right, in your niche that you want to collect to feed to your AI. So essentially, you're telling AI, hey, look at the specific content, the structure, the formula, the style of all these content or all these how-to posts from this ABC person, and let's do something similar, right? So you're essentially modeling with AI for something proven instead of giving AI free reins and ask it to come up with whatever and take the chances that it might not work. So being able to provide AI with specific and high quality input, such as your reference guide, is going to significantly improve the chances of your content from AI would also work and resonate with your audience. So this part is very important. And you're going to be able to fine-tune the AI tool here with your own style, with your own voice to make it a little bit more authentic to you. So you have the best of both worlds. So that's what we prefer here as approach. So in terms of your content reference guide, this is something that you do have to prepare in advance. It's very simple. Probably will take you less than like 15 minutes. So here are the steps. So first, you want to start by finding your top influencers in your niche on the right platform. So if you can find 3, that's perfect. If you cannot, 1 or 2 is fine. And you also want to find someone that's in your niche. So ideally, if you are offering career coaching, you don't want to be finding another person that's just posting something completely different, maybe like how to lose more weight. So you want to find someone that's actually in your niche, that's relevant to what you're offering, and are doing well with their social. Now, you also want to be finding them on the right platform. For example, if you are looking to post more on LinkedIn, you don't want to be going to find an influencer on TikTok. You want to be going straight to LinkedIn and find the right relevant influencer on LinkedIn and look at their recent post. So that's step number 1. Now, step number 2 here is once you identify, let's say, the number 1 or 2 influencers in your niche on the right platform, let's just say you're looking to mostly post on LinkedIn. You go to LinkedIn, find the person, go to their LinkedIn profile, click into it, scroll down, find their most recent post, typically under the activity section, and you want to pay attention to what they're posting in the last 3 months. Now, specifically, you want to pay attention to the highest performing content they have. And how do you gauge which one is actually higher performing or not? Well, you pay attention to the engagement metrics, specifically views and comments. So you want to be filtering down the type of post that got the most amount of views and comments in the last 3 months. And you would collect all of them, essentially copy and paste them over to a document that you can compile them all. So the format is very simple. Like you identify the post, you copy it directly on LinkedIn, you paste it over under post 1, you do the same thing under post 2, and you do another under post 3. I would say if you have 30, 40 posts, that's definitely more than enough. At the minimum, you want to be capturing around 10, okay? So once you have that, save that document, and we're going to turn that into a PDF later to feed your AI. All right, so let's look at your prompt. Now, there are 2 types of prompts here. The first one is role. So this is very similar to your system message. And then the second one is a specific prompt you're feeding to the AI to complete this project. Let's look at the first one, role. So really what you want to specify here is the persona, okay, context, and goal. Now, just to save us a little bit more time, I'm going to paste in the system message I have already written before, and we're going to just quickly walk through that. First is mandatory, which is setting the ground here. The knowledge base attached is for you to imitate the writing style. Do not use the stories as true for the user. Just imitate the writing style. Okay, so basically this is referring to that content reference guide that we're going to upload under this Learn tab here. Okay, so really, it's telling the AI here that, hey, that reference guide is just for you to learn and imitate the writing style and structure, and because that's proven. And you don't want to be copying their specific stories covered in those posts. So the second thing here is persona. So what I have here is you're an expert in examining and imitating writing styles of professional copywriters in the knowledge base, provided you have one set of training data with examples from founders, CEOs that have gone viral on LinkedIn. Context, we're helping the user to create a piece of content to post on LinkedIn specifically. Now, what I have set here as an example is all on LinkedIn. So now if you're not looking to market heavily on LinkedIn, instead, if you're looking to, for example, mostly post on Instagram, you would change this to Instagram. Same goes here. And founders, CEOs is typically my ideal client avatar for my niche. For example, if yours are not, then you would also swap that. So feel free to edit it. And then goal here is very important. 2 things. To get clients from our content, whenever we post, we want the reader to take the call to action we want them to take, whether it's booking a call with the user or commenting below the post as defined in the post. And then the second thing here is to build authority with our audience quickly by adding a ton of value. And I also specify some additional rule here. When writing, do not use words that feel like very formal. They feel like consultant speak. For example, unveil, unlock, right? Here's the kicker, embrace, debunk. Those are just very formal So what we want here, of course, you can set and customize the tone here, but what I want is something that's natural, conversational, and not too overly formal. All right, so let's look at a specific prompt here. So before we type in the details here, you need to choose which AI model you want to use. So what I like to use is Sonnet from Claude. Typically compared to ChatGPT, you can use either. They're both pretty good, but Claude is typically better for anything that involves creative marketing or copywriting. So I'm going to choose Claude here, and let's type in the specific prompt. In the prompt, really you're looking at two categories. The first one here is the input for the form, which you can see that once we start adding the elements here, is going to show up here. And then the second one is the specific instructions that you provide to the AI in terms of how to write it, how to structure the post, all of that. All right, so here's the input. Essentially, what you are looking at from the input perspective is you're thinking about, okay, so for me, the workflow would look like this every day. Whenever I need to write a how-to post, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, I would open up this custom AI content generator. And the first thing I'm going to see is the form that's asking me several questions where I need to share my input so the AI knows what to write about, what's my preferred topic, all of that. So then you need to think about, okay, what are some of the questions I have to that are necessary for me to answer before the AI can do a quality job on helping me write the post? So it would vary depending on your niche, depending on what you're trying to design here, but I would just walk you through with my example here. So let's say in terms of my needs, I need to every time fill in the 4 questions here in order for the AI to give me a quality post. Okay, so the first one here is positioning statement, which is really telling the AI what do I like, what's my main expertise, what's my offer, to give a little bit more context around the business. So the first one is positioning statement, and you would just type that down or whatever you choose as the first element and add user input. So you can see this quickly pops up on the right side. So you have to fill in the question first, and this is where you would type in the answer whenever you see the form pops up. So I have already saved the question somewhere else. So let me, just to save some time, let me just go over there and copy it. What is your positioning statement? So I'm going to choose this to be long answer because sometimes I might want to provide more context, more detail. So I don't want to be running out of space. So user input here is essentially a reminder that you can put here that would also pop up along with the question on the form to remind you what is this question really trying to get from you. So let me paste it. Please write down your positioning statement here following this format. I help audience A achieve result B with strategies C. Now, this is just something that I prefer, that it's easy for me to understand. You can obviously customize this. So let's make it required. Okay. And then the second thing here is I also want the AI tool to understand a little bit more about my audience. Who is my ideal client avatar that I'm trying to attract here with this post? This is very critical information. So I'm going to also add user input here and similarly fill in the question here. The question here would be, who is your ideal client avatar? And I would also toggle that to be a long answer because just in case if I want to share an example or a recent case study. So in terms of the reminder on explaining what this question is trying to get from me, I am going to put down something like this. So remind me to tell the AI who are my top ideal client avatar. So specifically with a description, what are their goals? What do they want? What are they looking to achieve in terms of their top desires so that AI would be able to have more context to structure the post to appeal to that? And what are their top challenges or pain points, top 2 to 3 struggles? I would also select this to be required because this is really important information. Let's move on topic. So this is essentially what I'm thinking about that I want to write. What is going to be the main topic? What is going to be the main post idea that I want to focus on writing about, right, with this how-to post? So at user input, we're going to do something similar here. What is the topic of this how-to post? This one, and let's say I'm going to share an example here to remind me, what does this question mean? For example, if I were to share the 6 steps to optimize your LinkedIn profile, my topic here is, how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. The last one here is steps or lessons. So this is really the meat of your post. What exactly are you going to talk about or you want the post to cover Obviously, you don't have to fill in the specifics here. You can skip it, right? And AI would just come up with whatever they think is going to be original or value added that's relevant to your topic. So you can let AI to do the work first, and you can go back to look at the result. And if you don't like it, you can change it from there and add your input from there. But what I like to do as another path is if I do have inputs to share, I do like to add my own take on this. So whatever original ideas or value I want to share in this post or I want this post to cover, I would put it here. So, specific steps, specific lessons, my unique framework, method, whatever that goes in here. Okay, so let's also add a user input and let's go back here. What are the specific steps you want to teach in your how to post? Required and long answer. So here, I'm also going to share some context here to remind me. So for example, if my topic is the same as before, how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, here are the 5 steps I want to write about. Have a good headshot, have a positioning statement, attach a call to action. So this is all very specific things I want AI to actually structure the post around. Okay. So that's the first part, which is the input. So now we're looking at the second part, which is your specific instructions, essentially telling AI how to write this post. So I'm going to just paste in what I have here. Now, this is going to vary depending on what you want, the preferred style of the output, and also your niche, your offer. This is just my example, so feel free to edit it. I want you to help me write a piece of content to post on LinkedIn, and I will share the goal. Goal first is drive whatever, call to action I ask my audience to do towards the end of the post. Okay, usually it's only one of those 2 call to actions. First is comment yes below to below the post, or book a call using the link pasted below the post. It's one of those 2. Now, this one is definitely going to heavily vary. So for example, if you post a piece of content on Instagram, it might be a different call to action. If your business is not a coaching business, it doesn't rely around a sales call to convert a client, then you don't need them to book a call, right? Yours could be very different, like asking them to opt into your email list or something else. So type here, the purpose of this post is to teach my audience or readers something new. So they have the aha moment and feel like this post is very value-packed. And then this is going to require some previous knowledge you have around what type of content would likely resonate the most with your audience in your niche. So I have predefined the structure of the post here. This is really coming from summarizing the top influencers and their proven content in my niche and kind of summarize how then typically structure their how to post. Part 2 is the promise statement, like what they're going to be able to learn or take away, or what I'm going to talk about as the focus in the post today, so they know what's in it for them, essentially. Part 3, from there, is followed by the meat of my post, which is typically I'm either sharing a few specific steps or main points or 4 or 5 lessons on how to do a specific topic. We need at least 4 items, okay? 4 main points or 4 steps, 4 lessons, ideally 5. And each item we need to follow the below instructions. So here's the structure of each step or lesson. The title here, what is this all about? Why? A brief explanation, potentially an example here, and then closing. All right, so that's really the first tab prompt. Now let's go on to configure. Here it is, you can actually auto-generate or you can upload an image you want to use for the profile image of this project on Pixie, right? This is not very important, so we're gonna just skip it. If you want, the easiest way is just to generate one, and Pixie can auto-generate one for you. Okay, so enable chat responses, yes, because this will allow you, once you see the first output from the AI content generator, that once we finalize building it, is once you see the first version of output, if you don't like some parts of it, you want to edit it, right? You want to have a more iterative back and forth process to get it finalized, then you would need to chat with the AI tool to do that. Okay, so placeholder text, you can skip it here. So the first one, output length. So for your average output, for every one of your output in the future to write the post, what's the maximum length you want it to be? I would toggle it to be the maximum here, just because for a LinkedIn post, you have a little bit more room to have it a little bit longer. Memory buffer. So this is basically saying how long of a memory should the AI bot remember about your conversation. Obviously, you want it to remember as much as possible, but you also want to balance it and not using too many tokens. So usually what I find to be sufficient is around 90,000. So like equivalent to a short book. Yeah, around here. Okay, so toggle it in the middle. Input length of your various form inputs and questions. Okay, so this one, please write down your positioning statement. This is fine, 1,000. Tell us who are your ideal client, 1,000 is fine. And for example, if you were, what is the topic of your post? 100 is fine because this typically is a very short answer there. And then the last one here is what are the specific steps or lessons you want to include it? 1,000 is fine, but you can always adjust it up if you want to. Privacy, I would choose it to be private. And creativity, here, I usually choose either 0.7 or its recommended level, which is 0.8. Okay, 0.8 is perfect. Word bias, do you want its output to use any of the words? Try to avoid those words. This is very critical. So I would use anything that kind of makes your content seems too formal or makes people feel like this is consultant speak, right? So for example, embrace is one, and then you can find other ones here and you can just compile them all here. So that's the second tab. Let's move on to the third tab here, learn. So this is what we covered before. You should, at this point, have the document that contains all the high-performing content in the last 3 months from your top 1 or 2 influencers in your niche. And then you should convert that Google Word document into a PDF ready for upload here and just upload it. Okay, so this is going to be for the AI tool to learn the structure and style and kind of model it for your output. So let's just assume that I have uploaded this. Now, knowledge settings. The first one here is relevance cutoff. How relevant does the knowledge-based chunk need to get included in a query? 60, its default setting is fine, so you can leave it be. Amount, how much information should be pulled per query? This is referring to how much information from the reference guide you uploaded here that your AI tool should pull for every question you have. So obviously you want it to go through as much of your reference guide as possible. So I typically toggle it to be the maximum here, or at least in the middle. Is there any context AI should know about the information being pulled? If not, leave in the default phrase. But you can just leave it here. You don't have to change it. The last tab, act, you don't have to worry about it too much unless you want, once the AI tool generates the post for you, you want it to perform other actions or workflows. So here, I don't have any need here, so I'm going to just skip this step. Now, once you double check everything and make sure it's good to go, you can hit publish and get it published. So once you hit publish, this is what you're going to see. We're going to do a test run here. So click deploy, share the link, and then we're going to post it here and do a test run right now. So this is going to be the form that you're going to initially see that we just built. So let's just put in the answer here. I'm going to just take the same answers. Let's say I help small service-based business owners to be more productive and get more done in a day without adding more hours. So who is your ideal client? Okay, I would say small business owners, CEOs, and busy executives. Okay, what is the topic of this how-to post? So what do I want to talk about here? Now, I want to talk about how to be 2 times more productive with a busy schedule without burning out. I can skip this, but I do want to add some of my original take here. So what are the specific steps you want to teach in your how to post? I want to cover a few things. The first one here is the current situation for most business owners and CEOs. They are very busy with meetings and not able to get their most important work done for the day, and still feel very exhausted and easy to burn out. Now I want to share maybe my method here that I think is effective for my clients. So then need to block off all meetings in the mornings and have focused 2-hour block to get the most important thing done. And the third thing here is the need to create even just a small support network to help support them when they need it. Let's hit submit and see what the output is. So let me just quickly read through the content. Most business owners waste 3 to 4 hours every day on low impact tasks. I've helped 100 CEOs double their productivity without working longer hours. Obviously, this number is not true to mine. So when you're reviewing the result, the actual post, you would need to add it, right? And replace the numbers with your own accurate numbers. So here's the framework that make this possible. Create a sacred morning block, build your support squad, which is exactly what I mentioned as one of the points I wanted to be covered, implement the energy management system. So it created 2 more additional points that I didn't have, which I don't mind actually, I like them. And then it has a call to action, right? Feel free, book a free productivity audit. Okay, so actually I like this. Let's say if I want to change or improve certain parts of this post, is you just click here, the chat bot, and then you can tell them what you want to change. I want to add it, right? And then just have the more back and forth process to iterate it until you're happy and satisfied with the final output. And then you're good to go. You can copy that and just go ahead to LinkedIn to get it posted. If you enjoy the content, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.